Hey, Bougie Club, what's going on? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. You guys, I'll give you a minute to get in, check in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and hit subscribe. If you're on Facebook, do the same thing. Turn on your notifications. This Sunday's topic is going to be brief, but I really want to take some time out to thank you guys, and first and foremost send a shout out to Miss Carlise, y'all. Miss Carlise is one of many of my ride or dies, but she has a special place in my heart. You all know when I launched Bougie State of Mind on the Bougie Institute back in 2017, she was one of the few who actually invested in me and invested in that class. And I just want to give her a shout out for doing her work and doing the evolution. You guys know I've been talking about the evolution for a couple of years now. And after I got off live last Sunday, we inboxed and Miss Carlise has hatched her egg. She has fully hatched her egg. You know, you guys, she started working last year on getting her classes done for her teacher certification, and she has completed all of her certifications for becoming a teacher in the state of Texas. Yes. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, y'all. Miss Carlise will be a teacher come next school year in the fall, shaping young minds, being an example, being a more integral part of our village for the children. So Miss Carlise, I just want to say congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Bougie Club, give Miss Carlise everything that's due to her, because setting forth on a path and a plan is not an easy task, because things coming away and sometimes we can get discouraged. But you guys, the evolution is real. A lot of times we want things to happen overnight. This is over a year of her time investing in herself, investing in her vision, and making that thing come to fruition. So I'm so proud of you. And I know all of you all are doing great things, but I can only speak to the things that you all share with me. And so, y'all, the evolution is real. If y'all haven't started an egg and a hatch plan, I'm just going to encourage you to get into it. Remember, the evolution is the process of developing a level of faith that allows you to manifest the vision or the dream. And the egg is experience, grow, and give. And so when you identify your experiences and are real clear on what you're going to give in exchange, and you're committed to doing your part, which is growing and doing the growth, it happens. Like, it's so real. I remember I was talking to a gentleman a couple of weeks ago who was from Zimbabwe, and I was kind of explaining the evolution process to him, and he was like, well, how do you trust it? And he was like, is it scientifically proven? And this is one thing I know for sure. So when you talk about statistical analysis, you have to have a minimum of 10 data points. And so all I can tell you guys is to keep doing this and keep collecting your data points. But I also know God is a God that you have to experience. And I can talk to you all day. You know, your friends, your family, your pastor, whoever your spiritual leaders are, can talk to you all day. But until you start applying the word in your life and being committed to doing your part, there's no words that I can use to explain to you how real all of this is. And so I'm going to encourage you all to seek to experience these things for yourself versus, scientifically proven. What is science? Science is you create a hypothesis and then you test it, right? That's how you scientifically prove something. You create a hypothesis. You are so welcome, Miss Carlise. And then you test it. and then you test it again, and then you test it again, and then people start seeing your results, and then they ask you what your hypothesis was, and they ask you what was your methodology for testing this hypothesis, and then they test it, and then they test it to see if they can reproduce your results, right? And then they keep doing it to see if they can keep reproducing your results, and then they determine whether it's reliable, whether that process is reliable. So all I can tell you guys is you guys have to keep practice. You guys have to take the hypothesis of the evolution and apply it and use the process and see if you can produce the same results. And the more of you all that produce the results, then, you know, I can speak more confidently with the reliability. But I do know that those who have been open-minded enough to try this process have seen results, from Miss D to Miss Tracy to Miss Carlise, to my immediate family, to the people that I work with in the community, Sherry Neely, Michelle Pugh, you know, the list, it's many of them, to Marius, to John. Like, there are so many people who I've shared this with who've tried it and applied it, but it wasn't anything that I was doing to get points from. It was just like, look, I figured out this process and it's working for me in my life. I want you guys to try it, because I don't want to have all of this enjoyment and see all of these miraculous manifestations and experience this thing by myself. I want everybody to have their heart's desires. I want everybody to be able to experience the joy that I've experienced. And all I can tell y'all is this real. Miss Carlisa, I'm so excited for you. I taught for 3 years, and that was probably one of the most fulfilling jobs that I had. You guys know I was a special education teacher, and while I'm not in a classroom for K through 12, I like to think when I come on here and I speak to you all that I'm doing some teaching, and you guys are doing some learning, and you guys are doing teaching, and I'm doing learning, and we are teaching and learning together from each other, because I'm a firm believer that someone else's freedom and deliverance is tied to your testimony. And these things that we go through are a testament of God's faithfulness in our life. And if you just step back and pay attention to all of the possibilities and all of the things that we are able to do, it'll just blow your mind. And so I'm just excited. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. So y'all make sure y'all congratulate Miss Carlise, because we need committed and passionate teachers in the classroom. Our young minds are so precious, and sometimes they're not always cultivated by people who are in a good place mentally and spiritually to help them develop their gifts. So I'm confident that those young minds that sit in front of Miss Carlise will be getting developed by a well-rounded person who is really committed to seeing them become all that they can become in their future, because she did the work on her part to make sure that she got there to be able to have the opportunity. So Miss Carlise, I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing with me, for allowing me to observe and be a witness and participate. I thank you for investing in me. When you sowed your seed of belief by purchasing that class, I appreciate you tuning in every time I go live. I'm really appreciative of that, and I'm appreciative of all of you all. Please don't get it twisted, but I believe in lifting each other up. I believe in us being a bra. I believe in us bougily reinforcing awesomeness in another woman. So you guys, that's why I'm lifting Miss Carlise up, because I don't want her to think that her hard work went unnoticed, because so many times we do all of our hard work in the shadows, and people don't often see what goes on behind the scenes. So knowing what has went on behind the scenes and the level of investment, I just want to hold her up today and present her accomplishments to you guys so that you all can share in this beautiful moment with her. and pray for her and keep her in your prayers so that she's covered as she goes into this next journey and season of her life as a teacher. Y'all know I'm a crybaby. So y'all just keep her in your prayers. Give her congratulations. Thank you, Miss Vanessa. Hey, Miss Athedra. That's all I really got for y'all. I was excited. I wanted to say something and come back on live Sunday, but I think y'all had your the Grammys. Was it the Grammys or the Oscars or something was going on? But I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that accomplishment this Sunday. I've got some stuff coming up, and I got something that's really exciting that's coming up. It was supposed to happen Thursday, but it got moved, and I'm not going to share it with you all until after it's occurred, because one of the things that you have to remember sometimes when you're working on your egg is that the egg has to hatch from the inside out. If you share stuff sometimes too soon, it'll start cracking from the outside, and that's not what you want. You want it to be birthed from the inside out. And I'm sharing this with you because I've been having a lot of conversations with my sister and one of my friends, and we've been window shopping on houses, looking at Trillo and Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com, and looking at some houses that are really phenomenal houses and outside of what appears to be everybody's budget. But you guys, you really have to daydream. But sometimes you have to be careful with who you daydream with and who you start creating your experiences with, because they'll start cracking it from the outside with their doubt and their inability to see. And you have to understand, when you're holding the egg, it's so much potential on the inside of it. You have to let it hatch from the inside out. So if you have an egg that you're working on, be strategic in who you're sharing that experience with. Be strategic on who you're sharing your growth process with, because you want to make sure that it's hatching and not cracking. And I hope this makes oh yeah, I'm working on that too, Miss Carlise. You want to make sure that you protect the vision, you protect the dream. When we go grocery shopping, we might put the bread in there with the eggs, but we're not gonna put the canned goods in the same bag with the eggs. So that's the same thing about your vision and your dream. Just be mindful of what you surround it with, who you let know about it, because you don't want them to start cracking it or making you start doubting it, because you got to believe it and you got to know it. And that's the key. The other thing is, you guys, stay committed to your spiritual practice, whatever it is, whether it's, my thing is reading your Bible, 15 minutes of meditation at minimum every day. I don't know, maybe you're doing yoga, exercising, just whatever your spiritual practice is, find one that works for you. What I do may not work for you, and that's okay. You just have to figure out a process for you, where the first thing every morning you figure out how to get into a space of silence where you can get clarity and direction on how you should move forward. And don't be so committed to the plan that you had in your head. You just have to trust the process. And don't be so stuck on the how, because the how can change. For example, I just know, I can't explain to you, I just know things, and the knowing is so deep because of my practice. So my event was scheduled for Thursday, and I had already booked my flights and made my hotel reservations. And then Friday we got a notification that was saying it had been rescheduled to the following week, and I had to remove myself from what it looked like and understand that I don't have any control over the how. I just have to continually surrender to the what. So I ended up having to rebook a flight to where I'm going, and seemingly looked like I was losing my other ticket. And so I don't know about you all, but I don't have money to just throw plane tickets away. But they wouldn't let me change my ticket, even though I have bought the travel insurance, and that's a whole nother issue with me. But another one of the Bougie Club members reached out to me to inquire more about what I was talking about, and told me to go through my credit card company to dispute it, because I did have travel insurance, but they weren't trying to honor the travel insurance either. And so my credit card company is disputing the charges for dissatisfaction. So there is a high probability that I will be able to recoup my money on that flight. But I'm telling you this because if I would have just stayed in that place of there's no other options, I wouldn't have even been able to be in a receptive mode to receive an alternative, because I never even considered going through my credit card company to dispute the charges. You know, I kind of got off the phone with like, okay, it is what it is. I'm just going to have to buy another ticket. And so I bought another ticket, and I was okay with buying another ticket because I realized what this opportunity represents. So I can't miss the opportunity. But what I'm saying is I had a plan, and I had figured out, hey, Miss Martha, figured out my how. But my how totally got disrupted. But because of where I am in my spiritual walk, I trust that even though it got rescheduled, it's because there's something greater in the works, that there's something that wouldn't have been able to happen for me if I would have went to the thing on next Thursday, that'll be able to happen by me delaying it for just a week. And so you just have to know that even though your plans get disrupted and you had it all figured out, and at the last minute something switched up, you have to understand that switch up is preparing something so much better than you thought was going to happen. And so you can't get focused on the switch up. You just got to trust that the switch up is for something greater. You know, the Bible tells us that his ways are not our ways. And so you just have to understand, you may have had it away, but if something changes, just surrender and flow with that new way, with the understanding that you cannot even begin to conceive all of the goodness and the greatness and the miraculous things that are stored up for you, that have been planned for you, but they're contingent upon you just surrendering to his will. So, y'all, I know that something great is getting ready to happen for me. I have no idea what it is. I just know that it's great. There is something on the other side of whatever it is you're dealing right now. You just have to surrender. Just flex. Be flexible so that you can hatch, because you can crack your egg from the outside too by not being willing to surrender the how. You're supposed to focus on experience, grow, and give, but you cannot be married to any particular how, because sometimes the how we have is so limited and so futile in comparison to what is possible. Like, I never knew that I have credit cards now. Mind you, I have credit cards. But never did it dawn on me to dispute something through my credit card company. So I couldn't be married to the how. So I don't know how I'm going to recoup my money on the ticket. But, you know, when those messages come, and when I know that people genuinely have my best interest at heart, I have that spirit of discernment, whether I can yield and surrender to the process. So you just got to learn how to surrender to the process. At the root of all of this is just surrender. You have to learn how to surrender. And for me, that's difficult, because historically I've been a control freak. I always want to be in control and know what's going on and make everything move. But when you take your life to that next level of spirituality and you actually surrender, like, it doesn't work that way anymore. And you have to be okay with that. You just have to know that you know that you know that everything is going to be okay. And that's where your spiritual practice comes in. When you get committed to your spiritual practice, you'll know that you know that you know. I have people ask me so many times, how do you know? I know. I can't explain it to you how I know. I just know. And no one can know for you. No one can know for you. I can know what God can do for you, but you have to know, because if you don't know it and you don't believe it, it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what I think, I can't do it for you. You have to experience it and know it for yourself. All I can do is give you the tools that have worked for me, and I know that they work because they've been working from other people. But guess what? He may show you a process that's even greater than my process that works better for you and it'll work better for me. But until you try it, until you try him, you'll never know. So all I can tell you is to try him for yourself. Try him for yourself. This faith walk is one